So today's Sunday story time is going to be a wild ride, so buckle up, get your apple juice, and let's go. So basically at this time I was a senior in high school, and I had this group of kids that I always sat with at the lunch table. I think I was the only one there that wasn't cis, but at the same time they were all the cis guys and I was the only one there. But I had never had a problem being accepted before, so that doesn't really add to the story. It's just to kind of give you more of a visual. Anyway, so basically throughout the year, you know how you can have those friends that you detect are not the type that you would go to for things, but they're there to hang out with and genuinely have laughs with and a good time? That was them. They're good to hang out with at lunch. So I did, and there was this one time when basically I was comfortable, alright? It was towards the end of the year. I think there was like 2 more weeks left of school, and I was comfortable just sitting down at the table, you know, my stuff just everywhere. I don't have to keep track of things. I don't have to worry about anything. And I get up and I go, you know, to class because it's the end of the period, the lunch period. Everything went fine, by the way. I noticed nothing wrong. So then, during computer class next period, I noticed that my iPod is gone. And I remember taking it out for like a brief second during lunch, but I thought I put it back in my bag. So I was like, oh no, it's not there. So I'm nervous because I've lost electronics in school before. Sometimes I'll get them back by like a miracle, and sometimes I really won't because somebody stole it. So I went back down to the lunch table and there's nothing there. Now I'm like, okay, either I misplaced it somewhere in my stuff, or one of them took it. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's the thing where they'll say, yeah, I have it, I'm just joking with you, I'll give it back tomorrow. Or tomorrow I'll show up to lunch and it'll just be like on the table or something, like as a joke. I was panicking because obviously my iPod's gone, so I told the people in like the lunchroom about it, like the staff or whatever, and they were asking me, they were like, oh no, I got something wrong. I don't think it even occurred to me that one of them did take it as a joke. I think at this point in time I thought I threw it out by accident because I remember having it down on a lunch tray. So I thought I threw out the iPod by accident. So I told the staff about that, and they were like, of course they thought I was a fucking idiot. I mean, who throws out a lunch tray knowing that their iPod is on it? But I didn't know, whatever. And they helped me look through the fucking garbage next to my table. And of course it wasn't in there. And then the guys that run the trash in the cafeteria, they would help me go and back of the school to look through the big like trash bags that they took out from the last period's lunch and like the dumpsters, obviously. But they didn't make me go digging through there. They did it, and they told me go back to class and we will if we find it, we will tell you. And I was like, okay. So I went back up to class. Obviously I got nothing from them. And I'm messaging these other assholes on Facebook, and nobody wants to fess up to it, whatever. So the next day goes by, obviously I go back down, I'm like, did you find anything? They're like, no. And then I get a message from one of the guys at the table, we'll call him Fred. So he messaged me on Facebook, and he says, we'll call this guy R right now, and he says, R has your iPod. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, oh, we saw him and DJ, so like kid, laughing about it, and he says that he's gonna like sell it or something. And keep in mind, this iPod has a crack in the screen, and it's like from 2010. Okay, it's like really shitty. And I'm like, well, why the fuck is he gonna do that? Like, I remember defending him through shit. I was cool with him. I don't understand why he would, like 2 weeks before the end of school, he's gonna take my iPod knowing he can get away with it and try to fucking sell it. So I got mad at R because we have a gym class together. So I fucking go in there, like, slam my shit down, and I'm like, give him back my fucking iPod. He's like, I don't have your fucking iPod. And we're like really mad at each other, and the teacher's like, you know? And so I'm pissed off because both DJ and Fred are telling me that R has the iPod, and then he was showing it off and stuff. Now there's this other kid that's at the table, and his name is Daniel. He's a short little guy, but he is like the sensitive one of that group. Like, he was very like nice to me and stuff, and like and he was like, you know how every group has the butt of a joke? that would be Daniel. Except I didn't partake in that because I was glad that Daniel was nice to me. But like the other assholes would crack jokes about me sometimes, but Daniel never did. So he was not the butt of my jokes, but the butt of everybody else's jokes. So I would ask Daniel and be like, who do you think has the iPod? And he'd be like, I don't know. And now both Fred and DJ are saying that R has it. So then I'm like threatening him. And I told my dad about it. And he was like, put a little fib in on him. He was like, tell him a little fib. And be like, well, this part actually isn't a fib, like that my mom is a lawyer, because that's not a fib. The part that was a fib that I did tell him was that I was going to call the cops. So I was going to actually call the cops on him. So I did. And he was like, whatever, go call the fucking cops, I don't care. And I'm like, you know, this could go on your permanent actual record if I do call the cops on you because you stole private property. It doesn't matter whether I was going to give it back or it was in school, whatever. It doesn't matter. You still stole it and you still refused to give it back. And I thought he was an idiot because he was still refusing to give it back. And I'm like, it's really not that big of a deal. It's just an iPod. It's not like you stole like money from me or anything. And you can prove that it was my iPod too. But he still would not give back. And this was over a Kik chat. So then the next day, I get a message from Fred again, and he's like, DJ has your iPod. And I'm like, how does DJ have my iPod? Because you told me that R had it. And he was like, oh no, DJ was telling me that R had it. And I was like, so you lied, you didn't see it. And he was like, no, but I saw DJ laughing about it, waggling it around with R, and he said he wasn't going to get back to you, he was going to sell it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, now obviously 2 people are saying they have my iPod, and at this point I'm thinking Fred has it because he's telling me that everybody else has it. So I get pissed off and I message DJ and I'm like, I'm going to actually call the cops and they're actually going to come down to that school and actually make you give me back physically the iPod. I'm not playing anymore. I'm not playing these games anymore. I got the school in on it. We looked at the fucking security tapes. I got everything. Still didn't want to fess up to it. And we're going into the second day or the third day, I don't even remember. And I'm in gym class, and I tell them, I tell everybody, all 4 of them, I'm like, I don't care who has it. You leave that iPod down on the lunch table, and I will not call the cops. I don't care who has it. Just leave it there for me to get back, and we will be done with this. Okay? But it didn't get a chance to happen, because I'm in my gym period, and R isn't even there, by the way. He's not even in the gym class. So that's kind of suspicious. But I'm just sitting there, and then Daniel comes in, and he's not even in this class. He just comes in through the door, just like slams his hands on the desk. And I was sitting at a desk in gym class. And he was like, DJ has your iPod. And I'm like, what? And like Daniel had never said anything before this, so he didn't know anything. So I was like, what? And he was like, I saw him in the gym locker room playing with it, and he said that he's not going to give it back to you when lunch comes around. Or that he is going to give it back to you, or something. He said something about the lunch period, and like Daniel's for some reason doubting that he was going to give it back. And they found out, by the way, because I guess that DJ had mentioned it or something, that he had once been to court for something else. And you know, if you've been to court for something else, and then something like this comes up, and you might end up going back to court or something, that's 2 offenses, so that's bad. That go on your permanent record and stuff. So that's even more leverage I have. So then I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I went to the gym teacher. I was like, listen, because I knew he wasn't going to take me seriously. So I said to him, I said, listen, either call the dean in here right now, or I'm going to go down to DJ's, I think he was also in gym. I'm going to go down to DJ's classroom right now, and I'm going to beat the shit out of him. That's exactly how I said it. Nothing different. I say, call the dean in here right now, or I'm going to go beat the shit out of him. So the teacher obviously called the dean. And the dean was like, I'm going to go, and I'm going to get DJ, and I'm going to bring him to my office, and I'll get your iPod back. And I was like, thanks. Because obviously they don't fucking want me near DJ, because they know that I'm not going to be fucking nice. So Daniel and I are just waiting in that gym class. And luckily the next period was lunch, so it wasn't like we were going to miss anything. And they brought us down to the assistant principal's office, and we had to write up statements. And we're waiting in there, and the dean comes back in, and he's like, what color is your iPod? Obviously I'm like, black. But this fucking guy doesn't know that the back of an iPod is silver. So he's like, oh, I don't know if this is your iPod. And he shows it to me. I'm like, not only is it black, so it's like the screen is black, obviously that's the color. If the front of it was fucking white, it'd be white. So not only is it the same color, but my fucking name is etched into the back of the iPod. Like, you know how you can get like your name on the back of the iPod? My fucking birth name is on the back of the iPod, along with the year that I got it for Christmas. So I'm like, that's my name right there. So unless DJ like has another name, that's mine. So he was like, okay, and he still didn't believe it, by the way, at this point. Like, I don't know why. And because you know my name, I'm showing you my ID, obviously it's my name. So, and they had took off the South Park case that I had on the iPod too. And the headphones for some reason, which they were like pink fucking headphones. I was like, what the fuck do you want? He told me to not only unlock the iPod, but to name the first 3 songs that would be on the iPod. How the fuck am I supposed to know the first 3 songs? Like, I know they'll start with A, but they won't come in order. I don't fucking know the names in order. So I told him that. I was like, how am I supposed to remember that? It should be enough that my name is on it and I can unlock it, but whatever. He said, just name 3 of the A songs. So I'm like, okay, I don't even remember what I said. I just know it was like, All Apologies by Nirvana. Apologize, and I don't know, fucking Amnesia, 5 Seconds of Summer. I don't fucking remember. I just said 3 A songs, and they were there, obviously, and you didn't make me do it in consecutive order, so whatever. So I got the iPod back. Then I leave the office, right, because I have a short day, so I only had like 1 class after that, and it was done. So I'm walking out of the school building, and DJ messages me on Kick. And he's like, did you get your iPod back? The nerve of this fucking asshole. So I was like, yes, I got it back. You took off the case and you took off the headphones. And he was like, alright, I'm sorry about that. Whatever. But can you call off the cops? Because he knows, because he's fucking scared. And I told him what I know. I was like, I know you've been to court and everything. And I was like, you know what we'll do? I'll make a settlement with you. I said to him, I said this. If you give me... How much did I ask for? Oh yeah, I was like, if you give me $50 for a new case and new headphones, I'll call off the cops. And he said, okay. And the next day I went into school and he gave me $50. I mean, I didn't use them on the new headphones and new case, but I got $50. And the best part was that the cops were never called. So, I swindled this asshole. And for the remainder of the school year, the last week and a half maybe, if that, I did not sit with them. And they were actually insulted. Like, R told me he was actually insulted that I didn't sit with them. I was like, because they all knew that DJ had it. Even R knew. He said he wasn't going to fess up to it because he thought the DJ was going to give it back. Meanwhile, DJ told me that R had it. And I told him that. I was like, DJ fucking said to me that you had it. He was about to rat you out to the police and you still had his back. I don't know. They want to stick together, whatever. But I don't talk to them anymore. I'm completely done with them. I don't fuck with that. And I have my iPod back. I don't use it, obviously, because I have Spotify on my phone, but I have it back. The $50 is probably long spent by now. And thank you for watching, and leave suggestions if you have any.